Thanks so much for staying there. An emergency meeting between government and leadership of the aggrieved teachers were told ended inconclusively in Accra. Now, government has therefore charged the teachers to apprise themselves with their demands. Now, again, we're told that both parties have agreed to convene on Tuesday, February 23, to discuss the payment of 100 million cedis outstanding allowances for the teachers.
The closed-door meeting spanned for about 2 hours. The main national leadership of the teachers failed to attend the meeting, but rather delegated. At the meeting, government pleaded with the teachers to apprise them with the issues with regards to their demands. The teachers, according to government, are demanding the payment of the incremental credits and the outstanding allowances spanning 2012 to 2015. Again, in the closed-door meeting, both government and the teachers could not agree on the number of teachers to be paid. Currently, the teachers are claiming that documents of about 4,000 out of 12,000 teachers have been validated awaiting payment, while government says 14,000 teachers are yet to be validated for payment. The meeting ended inconclusively and has been adjourned to Tuesday, February 23, 2016. Ahina Kwakwashi is the head of compensations, salaries and conditions of service for NAT.
And this is the first time that we are meeting. Some of the participants were not even abreast with the issues.
Your issues have been spanning for well over 2-3 years. Why should someone tell he or she does not understand your issues?
Oh, you know, these people are in 2011, 2013. Some of them were not even ministers.
Earlier, leadership of the teachers were in a crunch meeting to strategize ahead of their strike at the end of this month.
Well, that meeting, we're told, ended inconclusively. Another one scheduled for tomorrow. My guest in the studio to help us understand exactly what this tussle between employees and employers is about. Two of them. First is the head of compensation salaries at the Ghana National Association of Teachers to my left, and then Adokwe Ayikwe Awule. He is the communications director of a Coalition of Concerned Teachers Ghana. Gentlemen, welcome, and thanks so much for joining us. So let's start from here. Is there something, let me start with Mr. Kwashi. Is there something that perhaps employers and employees do not understand? And if there is, what is it?
Thank you very much. Everybody understands the issue that we are talking about, except somebody who is trying to be mischievous. Otherwise,
so there's no confusion at all?
There's no confusion. Because we are talking about people who have been denied their salaries and only 3 months have been paid out of about 24 months arrears. We are talking about allowances which are due to teachers, and they paid only the first quarter of 2015. The second quarter, the third quarter, the fourth quarter are in arrears. We are talking about incremental credit arrears which happened in 2011, 2012, and it's still outstanding. Everybody understands the issue.
I see. So when government says that, oh, but we have paid everything, what then is government talking about, or your employer talking about, when it says, well, I have paid everything except those who have not been able to provide me with the necessary documents I'm asking for?
If government says so, then that one even incensed the teachers the more, because they know that the arrears are outstanding, they have not been paid. Now let's even take the issue about those who completed colleges of education in 2013, 2014. The identity of those people is not in doubt at all. On the payroll platform, these people were being paid allowances. And once they were being paid allowances, it means that they had staff ID, and staff ID is a unique identification number on the platform. So he has finished his college, he has now been posted, his results has come, he is successful, and he needs to be upgraded from allowance onto salary. Then that one takes you more than 12 months. 24 months. Then when he is being paid, you say we are only going to pay 3 months. Then the remaining go to the district office and pick forms and fill and then submit them. Audit will go through verification. their identity, especially those coming from the colleges of education.
You think that should not be done?
No, that the identity is not in that. But if it is about people that they have recruited, okay, people that they have recruited, either as people, teachers, or anybody at all, and then you say you are paying him 3 months, the remaining ones will be paid later on, then of course that one it's understandable.
I'll come back to you to help me to understand this incremental credit, particularly for my viewers. But let me go to Mr. Adokwe. So, for the concerned teachers, are you able to tell us, for instance, how many of your members are affected, and perhaps if there is any doubt as to indeed if they should be paid these arrears?
Thank you very much. Actually, we are working in tandem with NAT and NAGRAT.
Right.
So I wouldn't be able to tell you this is for concern, this is for NAT, and this is for NAGRAT. But what he has elaborated upon are the facts that are on the grounds now. Now, even when you come to newly recruited teachers, that is teachers who were recruited.
Right.
And from 2013, 2014, for them, they were not receiving allowances because they were recruited directly. And the least amongst them have worked for 18 months and have not been paid. Now, when I tell you some of the requirements that were sought from them before their salaries will be processed, you are supposed to present your appointment letter, then letter of acceptance, your certificate, you present your birth certificate, photocopy of your SNIT card, then you make a photocopy of the attendance booklet in your school, the first, the middle, and then the last time. You make photocopies of your lesson notebooks for them to know that. And when the BNI went around, you are supposed to show them these things and make photocopies as well, and then you add the establishment warrant. So they added all these things, and some of them, when you speak to them and you call controller in the IPPD section, they will tell you the validation have gone through, but they are waiting for clearance from the Ministry of Finance before they pay. But how long will it take?
So there's no situation where a teacher has said, I have not been able to provide every document that has been asked for.
Oh, definitely.
There are some like that.
But why should it take 2 years before you notify the person that you have not brought your acceptance letter? Now, first of all,
so the GS is not wrong in saying that some teachers, Mr. Kwasi wants to come, I get the time, but the GS is not wrong in saying that some teachers have failed to provide the documentation they've been asked for.
Some of them have provided the documentation. It goes through a process through the district to the regional before it gets to national. Now, GS was complaining that some of them provided fake certificates. I think you've heard that one.
Exactly.
But who recruited them? One, when you were recruiting them, why didn't you call for all those documents? So you recruited a teacher with a fake certificate, and you have allowed that teacher to teach in the classroom for 24, 36 months, and you are now chasing that teacher to say that he brought in a fake certificate. Now, let us be frank with ourselves. Have we ever seen on TV or heard on radio that a teacher have been put before court for holding a fake certificate? So why would they always do it? Now, the moment I arrest that teacher, I will also arrest the district director and then the director general for recruiting a fake teacher. So we should look at the whole thing in a clear manner and make sure we put things right and pay the teachers. Because if you have recruited a teacher and for 2 years he has provided all these things that I mentioned, and some of them are very, very unnecessary, but they have provided them anyway, and it has gone through validation, and it has still not been paid. Their salaries have still not been paid, and you expect them to be motivated enough to go to the classrooms and teach. I think this is not fair.
I wanted to clarify that, but let me go to Mr. Kwasi, because he wanted to react to perhaps this issue of is it the one of teachers who have turned up fake certificates? Is that what you wanted to react?
Yeah, that is what the employer is telling us. But some of us, we really don't believe so.
They are not fake certificates.
Well, you see, if you are recruiting somebody, Are they now telling us that they don't respect the certificates of the people before they are recruited?
If it is found out to be fake today,
Well,
they
it's
can't
an
take
offense. You can take action, but only when the person is demanding her salary, then you tell him that you came in with fake certificate.
I see.
And we are talking about leaflets, okay? We are talking about leaflets which are in transit from the district office to the regional office to the national headquarters to audit service, Ghana Audit Service. So definitely some of them will get torn. They are packed in these check bags. So definitely some of them will get torn. So when it gets torn and then you say because of one leaflet you are not going to validate that, then the entire forms will have to send back to the district for the teachers to refill again.
So that's where the confusion
the
is.
nature of the
That's
job
where the
that we are doing.
confusion is.
That is where the confusion is. And people have moved to the districts, they have done the validation and still they are not satisfied. What are we then talking
How
about?
do we deal with this? It seems a huge problem.
I also see it aside, but it shouldn't be so. You see, if people are working diligently at their district offices, I don't think that this problem should come in at all. And for me, for district directors who have been given the opportunity to do recruitment, and they are recruiting people with their so-called fake certificates, then this country will have a big problem.
We're
You
talking
are
about
recruiting
44,000 teachers.
No, you see that
not-
that number I have
It's
been disputing
debatable.
it. Yes, because initially they submitted 15,000, I think 699. 10,574 or so were validated, out of which they said no, they after the 15,699 they validated 5,125, which is about 39%.
Right.
Then about 10,574 were queried. They were sent back to the districts, and then 6,340 came back. So you can imagine. So out of that difference is what they are saying, that those people have not come back again, and therefore they are fake.
I see.
It's likely somebody might even be in a very remote area who has not even heard about it.
Is it also not possible that perhaps those who might have put in fake documents are not scared to come back?
Well, I don't rule that out.
You don't rule that out?
I don't rule that out. If indeed people really recruited people with fake certificates and with this kind of exercise, definitely they will not show up.
I'm asking this because, Adokwe, let me come back to you, because the GES is talking about some 650,000 cities sitting there unclaimed. And so if indeed it is true, then there's something that is really confusing.
And in any case, are these the people who are from the colleges of education, or they are
Those who were
they are the
recruited
people
directly?
teachers that they recruited directly?
So the teacher unions are not aware of this. You're unsure.
No, when they are doing their recruitment, we are not privy to that. And if they are finding problems and if government wants to solve the problem, they can give to the unions, not to be capable in recruiting people with genuine certificates for their service.
That is one way of dealing with this.
That is one way.
The meeting, Adokwe, let me come to you. The meeting ended today. Nothing, or perhaps what the employer and employee wanted to agree on, you were not able to achieve it. Is there assurance that perhaps tomorrow something positive will come out?
No, thank you very much. No, we attended that meeting. First of all, we were trying to deliberate on the whole idea of even attending such a meeting again. Because
You don't want to go back to the meeting?
no, we've attended several meetings. There have been several
It didn't give
roadmaps.
you any results?
Yes, from 2013, several of them, to Labour Commission, Ministry of Finance, and we've not yielded anything. And I think the last time such a meeting came up was last October, and then October 28th there was a working committee put in place, and their mandate was supposed to end on the 31st of December. So with this one, when they were calling, we decided to go and listen to why they called us. So we listened to them, and we've told them that we are going to inform our constituents, and so the meeting was rescheduled for Tuesday, that is tomorrow. 10 a.m. So we are going to meet with leadership to tomorrow, and then we will take a decision and go back and listen to whatever they have to say. Already we have given our deadline or ultimatum, and that is 29th of February. And then we are hoping that by 29th of February, all these monies will start flowing in our accounts. And let me tell you, it can happen that one teacher has been affected by almost everything. It can happen that that teacher has not received his transfer grant, incremental credit arrears, he has received only 3 months salary arrears, vehicle maintenance. So you could see that the problem is very...
I'm going to ask Mr. Kwashi to try and explain these things, because authorities seem to suggest that they are expecting the teacher unions to apprise them with your demands. This incremental credit, this transfer grants and all that, really, what are they, and why is it that there's always some headache with it?
No, thank you. The incremental credit is an annual affair.
Okay.
Where, let's say, in the salary structure that we are operating presently, let's say if you are on level 10, every year you move 1 step. So if this year, 2016, you are on level 10, step 1, the following year you moved 1 step ahead.
And so some money is added to
some,
okay.
Some few cities is added to it. And by the time you get to your 5th point, you should be promoted to your next level, which is vertical on the salary structure. Let's say you move from 10 to 11. That is how the structure operates.
Okay.
Good. But when...
before you go, so the difficulty is when that few cities you spoke about is added, it doesn't come immediately.
No, it comes immediately. Your lesson is raised, let's say, at the end of the academic year. It is really at the beginning of the academic year, let's say September. Good. So then you continue to receive the new salary until the end of the academic year, when you are pushed to the next level again.
Okay.
But when the pay policy, the new pay policy came in, the white paper itself said that it is not going to be automatic. So
you must have worked for it.
Yes. But fair wages, other fair wages or public services commission will have to come out with the performance appraisal instrument. 6 years down the line,
it's not in.
It's not in. And the white paper said that once that thing is not in, the teachers will continue to enjoy the incremental jumps. You understand? And when we were doing the migration, we had a clear-cut guidelines, and the guidelines stated that everybody will be using his or her 2010 salary levels. So we were, I think, the second institution to be migrated, February 2011. So they use our 2010 salary point levels and points. Good. Then, as we moved onto the migration, we realized that the institutions who were migrated later on, they were instead of using their 2010 salary point, they were using either their 2011, 2012, or 2013. So it means we had been shortchanged.
I see.
So we raised the issue at the Public Services Joint Standing Negotiating Committee meeting. A technical committee was set up, and it came to light that yes, what we were saying was right. So in June 2013, they gave us our 2 notches, which is the same as the steps do. Then the arrest for 2011 and 2012 became a problem.
So that's where the board of contention.
That's where the board of contention is. And we have been able to prove beyond reasonable that indeed they owe us. The issue had gone to finance, had come back, gone to Labor Commission. And the last one that I remember was, I think, November 2014, where we met the minister. The minister said, okay, fine, under the auspices of the chief director of the Ministry of Finance, Major Retired Tara, they were setting up a working group to go and look at how best they can resolve the issue. We went, and then they told us that we should fulfill the incremental credit. And then we said no. So as a result of that, we did not even sign the agreement that we read after our discussions. We brought it back to the Labor Commission. The Minister of Finance was to come and then respond to the issues. We were told that he had traveled. Since then, we have not seen him at the Labor Commission. Then you remember, in 2015, the Minister of Finance said that any item or payment that was not budgeted for in 2015, they will not pay. So we said, fine. So we manage our employers, Ghana Education Service, to factor these things in their 2016 budget. So it was the press conference that was organized by the Minister of Finance, where they sought to create the impression that there's there's no arrest to be paid again as far as the single spine is concerned. They say, hey, then these people are in to cheat us. You see.
Let's listen to the Director General of Ghana Education Service, and then we'll come back to wrap up this conversation, because the threat is to lay down your tools next week. But let's see what happens at tomorrow's meeting. But first, Mr. Jacob Cole has been talking about this issue. Let's listen to him.
The salary arrears were scheduled to have been paid on or before 30th June 2015. It is important to note that this demand was to go through some processes, including collation of names of affected teachers and validation of the claims before payments were made. Unfortunately, when the process started, it was detected that some teachers were holding fake documents, including certificates to support their claims, whilst others were not at post. This is confirmed by the fact that out of the 14,575 input forms that were initially submitted for processing and payment, 6,268 were found to be genuine, with all the supporting documents, while the remaining 8,307 input forms were queried by the audit service on the ground of non-inclusion of certificates, establishment warrants, assumption of duty letters, and acceptance letters.
Right, so the DG of GES, they're talking about some of the reasons why some of these input forms were queried. Let me start with Adokwe. So, for you, this is a challenge as far as the validation process is concerned. But when perhaps you sit down tomorrow, how do we handle this to be able to arrive at a compromise? Let me start with you before I give Mr. Kwashi the chance to come in on this.
Now, we have already stated our stance that we want the money to be paid.
No matter what? Whether the input forms were queried or not? It should be paid.
Now, we know there are some forms that have already been validated. Per the letter that the Director General wrote to the unions, and we have copies here. Those ones have already been validated. And he is saying that he has now, and it's almost about 30,000 teachers who are affected, and it is here. He wrote them. And so at least they can start doing something about this one.
Right.
So that we'll see that definitely they've started something. And gradually, we know the processes will go through for them to finish. So we want to hear something positive from them. All the same, we have not rescinded on our earlier decision to strike on the 1st of March. It is still in force, and we are still waiting. But it will depend on the deliberations.
The strike is still on?
Yes.
Nothing will change your minds?
No, the only thing which will change our minds is when they give us our money by 29th of February 2016. That is the only thing. Because look, this, like he's saying, this is a letter, it's not signed by CORE. And these are forms which are at headquarters. We don't know the status, whether they have been verified. This is the total. These are forms which are standing at the regional education offices as at December 4, 2015. Total. We don't know what
these are all forms that have been validated.
These are all, no, they have not been validated.
They have not been validated.
Yes.
But so, we don't know the status of these forms.
Yes, whether they have been validated or not. So it's just for me, it's just a ploy. Because the point is that those who came out of the colleges of education, are their identities in doubt? I don't think their identities are in doubt. Because they were already on allowance. They have staff ID. They are on the payroll platform. You are only moving them from allowance to salaries. How long should this thing take? 24 months. Somebody teaching. they put him in a remote village. Most of them have borrowed left, right, center. So they should do something. If you see concrete evidence that, oh, indeed they are paying the money, is fine. That one, we don't have anything. And even with the allowances, what they themselves have told us, they have more than 16 million to pay. And you know, we finished with the negotiation of the categories 2 and 3 allowances, and the rates have gone up. So we want them going forward to clear their arrears, so that 2016 will have a clean sheet. So if we are talking about these things, then we know that we are talking about 2016 and not 2012, 2013, 2014.